Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Alex. So 10 things beginners need to know about World of Tanks. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is also going to help novelists and even advanced players. This list is not actually my own. Azire actually gave me some of these, and I'm gonna say, but that's a Gold League team from the WCL. If you guys don't know what that is, that's the World of Tanks Community League, and I asked them, what are the 10 common things that people should learn. Now this is coming from a Unicum player, so this to him is just basic stuff. So I just want to let you guys know it's not just from me, and some of these things I need to work on myself. So I tried my best in this video to kind of show you guys the best examples I can. They could be better in the future. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that in the future, I'm planning on maybe doing, if this does well, I'm going to do each individual thing we're going to go over. So anyway, let's start with the first one, which is map awareness. Now, he means it in all sense. He means like people aren't, looking at where they're going. They lemon train, they go to sides of the maps that they shouldn't be going on. And how would you know where to go and where not to go? If you're a new player, the best thing you can do is kind of stick with, your own, vehicle type, meaning mediums with mediums, lights with lights, arties with arties, tank destroyers with tank destroyers, heavies with heavies. Now, because these guys weren't actually being aware of what was going on the map, you guys can see here that they're absolutely getting devastated. And I actually started out in the C2 area and I just kept backing up. And you guys can see here that, they're paying the piper for it. Now, it looks like we're losing, but because there's so many tier 9s over here, I know that our tier 9 heavies all went to the city, which means they're absolutely killing them over there. Seriously. So I kind of have the top 3 just in this one video, but I'm going to go through them anyway. And that is, the position I'm in is actually a really good position. And this tank's incredibly hard to actually pin. You guys can see that I'm actually not using heat shells because I don't feel I need to. I'm basically just trying to spot them. Now, as soon as I see the M103, I'm going to go to a place that I know will give me, basically shelter from that. So I just used an escape route. So I knew that I knew my position was going to get overtaken eventually, but I'm trying to hold him off as long as I can. And you can see I'm seeing some shots from the left, but he also lets me know he's there by firing, so I appreciate it, which is going to give me perfect shots. And I wanted to let you guys know that if you're in a VK4502B, that you cannot give the side like that. I only have 200 pin with this gun, and I was actually easily able to penetrate that. So yeah, be aware of what's going on the map. Don't just lemon train one direction. And if there's only 4 guys that go left, try to defend the base instead of being aggressive, because you're going to get wasted. Okay, so position advantage. I just talked about this, and that is basically always try to be in a place that gives you an advantage over the other people. I'm in a medium tank. I'm more maneuverable. I'm also great hull down with this vehicle because I know the weak points on this vehicle, which we are going to cover weak points on here. Now, this M103 has been trying to get me for a long time, and he moved from the bridge all the way up here to try and kill me, and I still won't give him a shot. So when he comes down from here, I'm going to go ahead and track him. You guys will see it here, being track, and easy kill. I've made him miss, and he's dead. He also has given me armor, which means now I have extra protection. It's like having a rock here, which forces that T10 to give me his side, and I easily penetrate him without any heat. All right, on to the next one. Knowing how and when to fall back. Kind of the same thing, but how to fall back is to pre-plan an escape route, and then, if you guys just take a look at what I'm going to detect over here, there's an E5, and there's also a T54E1. I know these tanks because I own them, and I'm going to say that the T54E1 can easily do 4,000 damage a game with its clip. It's a 4-round autoloader, does 390 damage. It's not something I want to mess with, especially when there is the T110E5 over there. So I know there's nothing I can do, so I'm going to go ahead and basically seal club, if you will, take out the targets I can. But I have an escape route planned. And I also, you know, I know that I'm going to have to get out of here. And as soon as I pull forward, I get detected. And as soon as I do, I go ahead and go for my escape route. I've done this plenty of times with light tanks and mediums. I would not suggest this for heavies, obviously. If you're a heavy and you overexpose yourself, you're going to die. So, as you guys can see, our team has a position advantage over there in the A5 area. So I was easily able to escape, and I'm going to be able to keep my gun in the game and also reload in time. So by not going over there and dying with that guy, it may seem kind of callous, but he shouldn't have overexposed himself. All right, so learning weak points. If you go into your garage, you guys can look at how thick the armor is, but it doesn't tell you everything you need to know. For instance, just because it says it's, you know, 200 millimeters thick or 250, that doesn't mean that, you know, 300 millimeters of penetration will actually go through it. A good example is you can find out where all the modules are and all that on this, which is great to know where the modules are so that you know you have a chance. But when you look at the armor viewer, it only tells you the thickness, and it gives you an idea of the thickness, not actually how much. For instance, it's only 160 millimeters thick, but if you guys use an armor viewer, you know, third party, you guys can see that it's 208 millimeters effective. Now that means I would want to be angling this, but if you look at the turret, it's over, you know, 2 something, so that's pretty good. Now you guys could find this, it's Tanks GG, or you guys can go to and look up on your phone in the Google store. It's actually called the Tank Inspector. It's on a cell phone. You guys can use that and look at the armor. Now I do want you to keep in mind that this is for the PC, but this one actually helped me out a lot more. I just take it with a grain of salt, but it's definitely a handy tool to have with you. Seriously. Just to know. Like to know that tracks add 20 more millimeters depending on the tank. Some add 20, some add 40. It just depends. But this is an amazing side scraper, this tank. So, on to the next one, which is angling armor and when to use APCR and heat. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that you need to use APCR and heat on top tier vehicles. If you're in a tier 8 and you're shooting at tier 10s, you're going to need it to shoot the bottom plates, the common weak points. Learning weak points, you know, is definitely on there, you know, is in this video here. This is basically a stalemate. Me and a buddy of mine came on here to show you guys that in this particular situation, me and him are at an impasse. There's nothing we can do to each other except for use heat. And you're going to see here that I'm basically playing like I would normally play, and I'm not giving him any places that he can actually pin. But because I have 340 penetration and that's a flat turret that's only 250 millimeters thick, I went through it like butter. Now I wanted to show you guys, I see people doing this all the time, and you shouldn't do it because of what's going to happen here. If you guys look, I wanted to show you guys, I see people doing this a lot, and when they pop out like this, all you're going to do is get tracked, and if there's more than one tank out there, you're going to get killed. So try to use your sides of your tank. Always have something in front of you, and always try and be in a hull down position. Now this actually has decent gun depression, but it is a box, which means if you look directly at a guy with your turret, he can pin you, and you can see that there's a pin mark there. Alright, so we're going to cover a couple things here. Now this is HE. Now same situation, except for he's going to fire high explosives at me, and it's not even the fully upgraded gun. So he has the I think it's the 128 off of the E75, and he was actually still able to do severe damage. Now watch how much damage I can do with the 150. Now this doesn't mean that you guys need to be doing this with light tanks. You know, it's really about the caliber. You know, 150 has a lot of penetration. So do Hesh rounds, but they can kill crew members. So if somebody's side scraping like this and you don't want to use heat, you can use HE, but I'm going to tell you that in this situation normally, heat rounds wouldn't even help. Somebody would have to outplay the other one, and you guys can see here by me keeping that angle, it doesn't do much. So I had him turn his turret to show you guys that common bounce points become actual, you know, damaging points. For instance, I killed a crew member there, and I'm going to kill his driver here. Now it is random and it's like rolling dice, So there you go. So I kill his crew member, and you'll see Firebug actually tells me, thanks for that, Firebug. Spotting mechanics are very hard to cover, but I wanted to kind of show you guys, if you lock your barrel and you come out like this, you can spot a guy by the front of your turret. If you come out this way, you're going to overexpose yourself and get shot. Now, that's basically one of the main mechanics. I can't cover all of the mechanics in the game right now, but I did kind of want to show you guys some examples of spotting. For instance, this is a good example. All I needed to do is peek my turret up just a little bit to see him, and of course, because of my my camouflage rating, and he has not as good of a camouflage rating, I'm actually able to stay out of his range. But as soon as I fired, so this is a screenshot I took of where on a tank you're actually spotting from. So when you're looking everywhere, that's where it comes. So if your barrel's forward, then it gives you a couple more inches that you can see forward. Okay, so bush mechanics, I kind of want to let you guys know before we get into this that some bushes do not exist. And I wanted to let you guys know that on the 360, because it can't handle the Xbox One, you know, bushes, they don't all exist. Which means if you're sitting here and this bush isn't actually on the Xbox 360, then it doesn't really exist. But I can show you guys how bush mechanics work. This is also passive as well, which means I'm basically staying hidden. I'm playing back. I'm not getting aggressive. I'm just basically moving forward. And here I have an opportunity to shoot this guy, but instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and back up and at least test this bush. And you guys can see that this bush actually exists because I'm actually able to fire at him and not get detected. It's supposed to work like that in all of them. Okay, when to be aggressive. When to be aggressive is if there's only low tiers left and they're sitting in the spawn. As you guys can see, I can easily trade my hit points with these guys and clean them up. I did want to let you guys know that this isn't real gameplay. These are actually just you know, computers, you know, so but it was a good way to show it all in one thing, so I don't have to go through a bunch of videos and do that. And you know, yeah, that's when I'm aggressive. I'm aggressive with mediums and lights, and obviously being aggressive with a heavy isn't something that you should be doing. You should always be trying to use position advantage for that. Anyway, so 10 things. We've actually covered map awareness, positioning advantage, know how and when to fall back, always have an escape route, learn weak points, spotting mechanics, bush mechanics, when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, side scraping, angling, and using heat. Now it's a little bit more than 10, but anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm actually thinking in the future, like I said in the beginning of the video, that in the future I'm thinking about doing one on each individual thing. There actually are some more stuff we can go over as well, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a taste and find out, what do you guys think about this stuff? Does this help you? And if it does, you know, hit that like button and comment and tell me why. If it doesn't help you, then let me know as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a good one. Later.